Victoria 3, the only game that's all about friendship and teenage girls. What? Did you thought it was about armies and industries and stuff? Hilarious! Today we're playing as Portugal, and we're ruled by our queen, the 16-year-old Maria de Barganza. Wait a minute, is this the same de Barganza from the previous video? It is! Alright Pedro, get out of my Maria video. You weren't invited, stupid child. Our laws are pretty serviceable. As for the Emperor of Brazil, Her Majesty prays that she won't have to interact with him ever again. And naturally the entire state will pray with her. Now we're joining Great Britain's customs union. As you know, we're friends and they're big and powerful, because they own India. Of course our Majesty has something way more powerful than India, friendship, which will help us shoot a bunch of Chinese people so we too can be big and powerful. In exchange for your help, the Queen will give you a little piece of India, because she knows you're collecting India. Alright China, feel the power of friendship and having more than 5 attack. Jesus, I thought the minimum was 10. And we have state religion. I'm sure all the new Chinese subjects will appreciate it. We are victorious, now we too can call ourselves big and wait a minute. I didn't want this province, this is Shuzhou. I wanted this province, Shuzhou. Oh man, what a mess. I really hope the Queen won't authorize a series of wars in order for us to connect those two bits. That would cost so many lives. But even so, Her Majesty's best friend, Victoria, a 17-year-old girl, will definitely help. I told you this game is all about teenage girls, didn't I? Hey, what is this revolution about poor laws? Is this what the Chinese people used to do? Well, I asked the Queen about it and she said, and I quote, "Tax the poor. That'll shut them up." I'm not really sure about this, but I have no choice. Wait, it actually worked. Oh man, you just gotta respect the teenage girls. They know exactly what they're doing. Otherwise you end up like Morocco, invaded by thousands of British men. Take that, poor people! That'll teach you to demand things from the Queen. And I'll teach you, Morocco, respect teenage girls. Why are the British not leaving? I mean, I can't just kick them out. They're friends. And there's a movement for a dedicated police force. It makes sense. The police must be dedicated to Her Majesty. Spain declares me a rival. Oh, watch it, Spain. You don't want to end up like Morocco now, do you? Just endlessly occupied by the British. And now it's time for a solo conquest. It might be fun. You know what? It's not really all that fun. I'll help you, Britain. Fighting together is so much better. Give me a bankroll. Hey, whoa, I just saw it. It was a thumbs up. What just happened? Alright, fine. Give me an obligation. It's practically the same thing. We have a dedicated police force, now let's get National Guard. That will allow me to mobilize a ton of Chinese people. Alright, 117 battalions, that's way more than what Pedro can mobilize. Alright Pedro, Her Majesty has had enough of your interfering in her video. It's time for you to admit that Maria de Barganza is the main de Barganza. Give me a hand, Britain, I don't have a border with them. I'll give you this little village in Africa, so we can have a proper battlefield. And of course I'm going to help you with your Australian revolt, just give me money. I'm having trouble with the money for some reason. Pedro backs down. Let that be a lesson to you. Quit interfering in the video. And this is how it feels to be the Chinese emperor and a random Portuguese teenage girl misspells Shuzhou. And this is how it looks like. To be honest, with 5 attack and 6 defense, I don't think I need the British here. But it's way more fun. I'm pretty sure China explodes if they lose too much, but until then, they're in charge of fixing the budget. Jesus, that's a lot of money. Are they selling drugs or something? Now it's time to trade some random African village and an obligation for British Guyana. Our GDP is very close to the British, which means it's very uncomfortable for us to be in the same customs union. So we're gonna have to leave. Give me a second. Alright, everything is fixed. Luckily we have enough things made in China. Speaking of China, we're getting a lot of conscripts from them, but what if we can get even more? And we shall now upgrade our defensive friendship with Great Britain to an offensive friendship. Prepare to be offended, Spain. Ban slavery. Her Majesty demands it. Oh, you're calling in your friends, the Americans? Well, Her Majesty also has friends. The Austrians did a what now? Oh no, Britain, don't believe them. They're just using you. I'm your real friend. Here, I'll join for free. Alright, Spain, feel the power of true friendship. Teenage girls, the British army, and an endless horde of random Chinese peasants who have no idea where they ended up. So much better than being friends with Austria. And the Queen's enemies are now vanquished. And the British left Morocco. I guess the occupation is over. And just like Her Majesty ordered, we now have an unending army. What? It's supposed to be unstoppable? It says unending. Are you suggesting the Queen made an error? Guards! Anyway, we have an unending army, per Her Majesty's orders. And now we're going to trade a random African village for a random South American village. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, the biggest problem we have currently is opium. We just don't have enough of it. I mean, we need clothes as well, but Her Majesty isn't interested in clothes. She wants to break bat with her best friend. And you know what they say, friends that break bat together break Chinese kneecaps together. And we're going to help the British with yet another Australian revolt. Oh, they'll give us a piece of Australia? Well, in that case, we're going to take Hudson Bay for Her Majesty. And this is how it looks like when you smoke your opium and the Portuguese girl comes back. Alright, Mr. Hudson, it's time for you to learn Portuguese. The Chinese emperor will learn not to mess with teenage girls. And we're going to learn how to plant opium. And the local Chinese people will learn violent suppression. Isn't learning fun? It's almost as fun as freeing the Confederate States of America. Oh my god, they're worried, and I haven't even called the British yet. I mean, they called the Spanish. Someone's gotta watch my back as my armies are making their way into Canada. What the dickens? They just teleported back to China. Alright, well they landed in Newfoundland, so now they can find their way to the front, surely. At least the British got my back in Spain, and we're finally pushing into Canada with one army, because the other one is doing donuts in Newfoundland. But it's alright, because we're invading America, we're invading Spain, the British have capitulated. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Speaking of not right, we can't hold them in Spain. One of my armies teleported back to China, and my largest army is just lost in Canada. Oh come on guys. You're acting like a bunch of Chinese peasants who have never seen snow in their life and can't obey their orders in Portuguese because you don't speak Portuguese. Come on! So I'm afraid we're gonna have to leave it here for now. I also noticed we have a major problem with lead. We have none of it. But what's even worse, Pedro has lead. The brazen audacity to just own lead and not share it with Her Majesty. Feel the power of the endless friendship and endless Chinese horde. Pedro and Austria hungry for some reason? Cultural exclusion? I mean, we're still gonna discriminate against the Chinese, which might sound unfair, but like Her Majesty always says, curse your own wretched birth for not being born royalty. Yeah, get 'em, Britain! I told you the Austrians are no good. Your place is with the Queen. And this proves it. Her Majesty's friendship is superior. Come on, Pedro, cough up the lead. And Haiti needs help. I mean, we're in the neighborhood, might as well. Unfortunately, we have a massive financial crisis on our hands, and this is how it looks like when the Portuguese girl wants your lunch money. Cultural exclusion. Now we're going to discriminate against foreign cultures that have nothing in common with our culture. Like, you know, Chinese. So don't feel bad about the Chinese people we're mobilizing, so they can fight other Chinese people. For you see, Her Majesty doesn't view them as people, which makes it okay. And the British are having another Australian revolt. I'll help you, Britain. Give me another piece of Canada. Her Majesty is collecting Canada at this point, and we're victorious. Oh, what is this revolution about poor laws again? Well, the Queen allows. This time. I'll help you in India, Britain. Give me New South Wales. Jesus, that's a huge chunk. We have poor laws. Let's see how much money we're giving to the poor. 165 bucks. That's almost something, I guess. What is this, America? You gonna shank me or something? You want Hudson Bay? Hilarious. I invoke the power of friendship, and I demand the liberation of the Confederate States of America. Our Majesty wrote it in the Constitution. Hey, wait a minute, what are you guys doing? That's not the front line where you're wait, they just disappeared. What just happened? Hello? The game is paused. How are you moving? Let me guess, they dig the hole all the way down to China. Amazing. Okay, we got to the front line. Unless they start doing donuts again. Oh, never mind, we're going. Alright. Get 'em, boys. To be honest, Hudson Bay feels kinda cursed, so let's go to California. The Chinese conscripts can definitely handle the huge desert. Come on, man, push! Remember Her Majesty's words, if they challenge Portugal, cut them in half. You have your orders, men. Attack the American positions, destroy them, cut them in half, leave no one alive. Britain capitulates. Hey, where did my army go? Oh, unfortunately they can get to Hudson before I can, so we're gonna have to end it here, for now. Alright, Hudson, I had enough of your teleporting nonsense. And yes, I called the British in, just in case. Oh, what is this, Denmark? You want us to trade? African villages? Sure, why not? Coincidentally, the British also want this African village, and they're willing to give me Newfoundland. Well, now you know what's the most wanted African village. And now we can get rubber from the Amazon. What, did you thought we were bullying Pedro for no reason? Don't be ridiculous. Of course there was a reason for it. It was fun. And we get rubber. Well, if it isn't our best friend, the Australian revolt. Come on, Britain, give me money. I really need money. Again. It's almost as if our economy based off of extortion and violence isn't all that stable. Nonsense, come on Andalusia, join my customs union. It's very stable, promise. I just noticed that the only thing that gives clout to the landowners is tenant farmers. Let's get rid of them. How dare you miserable aristocratic parasites! Obey Her Majesty, or else! One division, you guys should have escaped to some stupid country while you had the chance. Like Scandinavia or something. Oh, what's this Scandinavia? You did like that? Well, Her Majesty doesn't like you back. Alright, with that taken care of, we're going to have free trade. And we're gonna also free the border with the USA. I know Hudson isn't there anymore, but I don't want to risk it. And this is how your country got their independence. Now it is your job to describe the events for the history books. Make sure to emphasize the heroic sacrifice of your people and the desperate desire for freedom and independence in such a way which will inspire future generations to sacrifice life and limb for the motherland. Good luck. What? You don't think they want their independence? Remember, Her Majesty always says, the truth is that the strong devour the weak, and we shall fight, compete, dominate, and feast on the very flesh of this world. Isn't that great? Are you disagreeing with Her Majesty? Guards! Right, well, even though Hudson's decapitated ghost is still haunting us, we're doing a great job. Remember guys, in this fight for freedom, all the savage crimes you're committing are authorized by the Queen, which makes it okay. And America is ready to surrender. We didn't even go all the way. And we have free trade, free Confederate States of America. So why don't we celebrate by freeing the economy? North America, isn't it beautiful? I really love how the United States decided to shove half of their United in the Confederate States. And now we're going to trade a random African village for Sri Lanka. It will make a great gas station on the way to China. And we're also trading a random African village for French Guyana. We're getting pretty friendly with the French as well. And Britain is having another problem with Australia. Quickly Britain, give me Western Australia. That'll shut them up, I'm sure of it. And Tasmania is also having a revolt. Quickly Britain, give them to me. We have ways to shut them up. And this is how the very first major conflict looks like. No, not because the Russians are here, because the Italians are here. That's how you know things are getting real. While the Russians are trying to invade Japan, completely unrelated to the Chinese war. The British have landed in Russia. We can't lose. No, not because of the British. The Italians have arrived. Woo! And with our free economy, now we can have our very first company. Are you tired of drinking the same boring tea? Try the brand new tea with opium. Now available at your local grocery store. Tea and opium. You just gotta try it once in your life. Otherwise you end up like Pedro. Okay, that's it. The church is now demoted. They failed to save us from Pedro's interventions. Jesus, talk about a stalemate. Let's have a naval invasion. That'll shake things up. Oh yeah, things are definitely moving now. Get out of here, church. Oh, what is this? France is having trouble? I'll help you, France. Give me Corsica. I mean, Pedro got Corsica that one time, so now Her Majesty needs to have it too. Truly countless lives later, Her Majesty has managed to connect the two bits in China. Let's never talk about China ever again. Now back to France. And yes, we also have Corsica. Just like Pedro. Okay, that's it, church. You're fired. With the church out of the way, we can now have no migration controls. Her Majesty wishes to take all the fleeing civilians from the enemy countries she destroys, just to flex on them. Isn't that noble? Now we need to take care of Her Majesty's rivals. We already dealt with Russia. All we have left now is Scandinavia and Austria-Hungary. It's kinda complicated because my friends are friends with my rivals. But that's fine, we can still pin them against each other. I guess we should start with Scandinavia. Wait a minute, they have 5% chance to accept their humiliation. Wait, they just accepted. Really, Scandinavia, and you call yourself a great power? You just gonna let Her Majesty do things like this to you? How embarrassing. I guess that's kinda the point. Anyway, let's move on. Austria-Hungary, it's time for you to liberate Czechoslovakia. That's something Her Majesty would definitely like. Come on, Prussia, give me a hand. Her Majesty will give you Haiti, because she forgot it existed. Listen here, Britain. Her Majesty needs a big Caribbean island. She gave hers away to Prussia. Don't ask why. Oh, the Confederate States want to join our customs union of friendship. And now we can expand our population. What? You think our population is large enough? Okay, good. And we're finally funneling in enough Chinese people so we can make a breakthrough. Prussia capitulates. Oh, come on, Prussia. I haven't even mobilized yet. Which is true for literally every conflict for the last 20 years. There is something very difficult in finding the right Chinese peasant in a sea of wrong Chinese peasants. Granted, we might have overestimated Prussia in this one, so we're gonna help France for a piece of the Ottomans. That will definitely help us liberate Czechoslovakia in the long run. There you go, we got our war goal. Come on, France, funnel through Italy and Austria-Hungary. Of course. Uruguay is requesting Her Majesty's protection. A wise choice, Uruguay. And there you go, our front operating base for mission Liberate Czechoslovakia has been established. Don't worry guys, we won't take you over. Jesus Christ, maybe we should. Oh my god, Britain is having trouble with some stinking peasants. Unacceptable. I'll help you, Britain. Give me the last piece of Australia. Her Majesty wants the whole collection. The problems for Britain just keep piling up. Don't worry, Britain. In these hard times, we'll take care of British East Africa for you. Capitulated? Ridiculous. We haven't even mobilized yet. But they managed to win. That was a close one. And now it's time to federate Australia. Woo! Amazing! That's a pretty cool flag. Unfortunately, South Australia will have to join when we improve our relations with them. Now our queen, a 65-year-old teenage girl, and her best friend, also a 65-year-old teenage girl, are going to... What do you mean 65 isn't an age for a teenager? Guards! As I was saying, they're going to start Operation Liberate Czechoslovakia. Now we can see that the main fight is going to be at the Prussian border, but unbeknownst to our enemies, we have managed to hide 200,000 Chinese conscripts. Jesus, that's more than the local population. That's right, our never-ending Chinese conscripts are not only never-ending and can teleport, but are also invisible as long as they're in close proximity to the Balkans. What do you mean, why? That's how all Chinese conscripts work. Needless to say, teleporting, invisible and never-ending armies are very effective against Austria. I mean, let's face it, most armies are effective against Austria. We have liberated Czechoslovakia just as it's written in the Constitution. And look at that ever-growing list of friends. Oh, what is this? The Confederate States require Her Majesty's protection? And Costa Rica also needs Our Majesty? We're in the neighborhood, might as well. Alright, look at that flag. Amazing. And it's time for us to fully confederate Australia. God save the Queen. Now Our Majesty is 70 years old and she demands for the Ottomans to ban slavery. This looks like a massive conflict, but remember Her Majesty's words. As long as I get Rome, it's worth it. Ow, my lower back. Fetch me my opium. My lungs burn. Classic teenage girls. Hey, what is this revolution in Italy? What happened to my claim to Rome? Alright Italy, you can fight on both sides. Classic Italy. And of course, because our Chinese conscripts are in the Balkans, no one can physically see them. Classic Chinese conscripts. Okay, we have an infinite army of invisible Chinese men and friends. Lots and lots of friends. To be honest, they never stood a chance. Get out of here, Russia. We now have even more friends. Multiculturalism, but discriminating against the Chinese gives them superpowers like being invisible in the Balkans. I'm sure it'd be fine. We're just going to use more of them. Alright France, Her Majesty will give you a random African village and you will help her get Rome. It belongs to her according to the Constitution. Italy backs down. A wise choice. And what is this? San Marino is requesting Her Majesty's protection. Why not? That was easy. We haven't even mobilized yet. And now the Chinese no longer have superpowers, but do you know what they do have? Normal wages, I think. I'm not actually sure how this whole thing works. A monument for our queen, of course. Oh, what's this? You're one of the 2% who will get radicalized? Guards! Our Majesty is 74 years old. Unfortunately, her best friend didn't make it. But looking on the bright side of things, Pedro also didn't make it. Looking at the world, you can definitely feel the power of friendship. Teenage girls. Never-ending horde of expendable soldiers. invisible Chinese conscripts, opium, violence, extortion, fear, imperialism, complete disregard for human life. Isn't it fantastic? And these are the laws which allow Her Majesty to be the perfect teenage girl, even though she's 74. And this is the final score. Remember, Portuguese teenage girls are dangerous. Just give them your lunch money and run away. Until next time.